Well, good evening. You're very welcome to Inside Line Racing for round number 20 of ILR6 here at Interlagos, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Nice and sunny, so that's a good start. My name is Graham, and I'm going to do my best to bring you the action from a very old school track on the calendar, one of the older ones on the calendar these days in Brazil, but one that is very popular with the drivers and can throw up a great spectacle as well. And that's what we have in store here tonight as Red gets us underway with a 109.4 on the Supers. Khalifa already out of the session, so he will be continuing his fine form in qualifying with that. We start near the back. Now the times are coming thick and fast, so I apologise if I miss anything. We'll try and just take it as it comes. There's a lot to go over. It is the penultimate round. Things are getting to the nitty gritty. Let's start with that for now. So at the top of the standings, it is Danskar. He is leading the way on 229 points. That is 12 points ahead of Ant in second, as Bill sets a 108.7. We'll see how far into the 8s we can get. Bill off to not a bad start there. So a 12-point difference with 2 races to go, 50 points up for grabs, which means that if Danskar wants to win this title today in Brazil, he needs to outscore Ant by at least 13 points. Because actually, who's got more wins? They both have the same amount of wins, actually. So you have to outscore by 14 to actually win the title today, I believe. Because if Ant were to win in Abu Dhabi, that would... Ant has more wins. Ant has 3 wins. So he has to outscore by 14 points if he wants to win the title today, to push it to a 26-point gap. Oh, there's a big spin for someone. Oh, that's Baza spinning right into just coming towards Jun Sao. That's a big spin. Has to be careful not to block anyone else. That was a big moment. If rear wing damage was on, that would be instant qualifying over. But Codemasters are too. That's too much work to have a damageable rear wing. It'd be broken, in a sense, I'd say. With every bit of contact from behind, it would result in a broken rear wing. So I get it, but should be an option at least. Here is Danskar, and he goes fourth with a 109.9 on the mediums. Ant has gone 0.8 quicker on a set of mediums as well. So here's the permutations then. If Danskar wins today, he needs Ant to finish 10th. Sorry, he needs Ant to finish 4th. Fifth. Sorry, I haven't done a lot of this off the top of my head, but he needs to finish in 5th place, which would give him 10 points. That's where the 10 came from, and that'd be a 15-point difference, and that would give Danskar the title today. Alternatively, if Danskar finishes 2nd, Ant would have to finish in, I believe, he'd have to finish at least P7, I believe, to keep it going. P8 would be just 4 points, and that wouldn't be enough. That'd be a 14-point difference. That'd be exactly what Danskar needs. And then if he finishes 3rd, then basically Ant has to finish 9th or higher to stay in the title hunt. If he finishes 10th while he finishes 3rd, that's it. And of course, if he finishes in 4th, then that doesn't make a difference for Danskar. It will go to Abu Dhabi regardless. So we got a couple more retirements. Murdoch and Crumpet have both retired in a short space of time. Here is Place, Danskar's teammate, and he goes 4th rather, at 109.3. So we're kind of seeing a lot of split strategies here. Mediums first. I'd imagine people will wait till the softs, possibly at the end of the session. A few people not wasting time, going straight to the hypers. Where is Sir Lane not here today? Here he is. Sir Lane. Okay, there he is. 109.7 for Sir Lane on medium. So and looking good at the moment in terms of this qualifying session. Track position is quite important around here for reasons we will get into a little bit later. But that is that's the permutations with the driver's title. Basically, Danskar needs a podium at the very least, and then depending on where Ant finishes after that. The constructors could basically be a done deal today. Technically, it can be a done deal today. Technically, McLaren. I miss saying McLaren Mercedes. Trust me, it's painful still to this day. 319 points for McLaren ahead of Haas on 291, so a difference of 28. So they need to outscore. McLaren needs to outscore Haas by 15 points. By 16 points to actually secure. That'd be a 44-point gap, and obviously 43 points up for grabs with a 1-2 finish, which is not looking on the cards at the moment. So, although to be fair, Haas are sitting first and third, and I actually wonder if this is a part of a concerted effort by the two Haas just to kind of ignore tyres to a degree and just try and go for track position and just use that as just anything to get back into this this constructors fight. So interested to see how that turns out. There's a whole bunch of permutations that could end up that could easily see McLaren outscore them by 15 points, but the ball is definitely in McLaren's court. They've definitely got one hand on that trophy. It's tough to overturn 28 points deficit in 2 races from a constructor's point of view. Even again, you know, even though you've got 2 drivers, it's just hard to do. So, but the race win, if any of these Haas boys can actually get themselves on the, oh dear, Rob, the squad are facing the parts of dangerous locations. That was a shame for Rob. He's in 7th there at the moment, and well, he's going to be at the very, very back. So Khalifa has some respite after all. Fortunately, that does not help the likes of Baza, Pro Opa, and as such, who have to negotiate that car, which is of course not in the control of Rob by the time that ends up getting out of the way. As Baza dives into the pit, there's 2 cars here across the line. One of them is Pro Opa. Does not set a time, but I believe, was that Beesma? It was Beesma. Beesma goes 8th on a set soft. So, lots to be decided today. Personally, I'm hoping for a good fight today. If the title goes down to Abu Dhabi, that's cool. If it ends today, if you don't get a good race, you know, that's I don't mind that personally. But I guess for the sake of the show, it'd be nice to go one further, to go to the last round of the race. It's been fun. It's been fun to watch this title race unfold. We've gone from 3 and 4 contenders then to just 2 after a couple of moves to ILR 5. It has ended up being Ant versus Danskar. Both very much early season drivers, as Bill goes quickest to 8.2. Ant was very dominant in the early part of the season, then lost his way during the middle part. Danskar kind of the same in many regards. Had a killer stretch actually when Ant was struggling. Looking at what, Monaco, Canada, France, Austria, Britain, there's 3 DNFs, a DNS, and a 14th place for Ant, whereas Danskar third, 2nd, 5th, 2nd. So he got a lot of points up in that span, and did take the lead of the title during that period. And well, it's been a close one. Well, and actually that's not true. It hasn't been close in some regards, but it's been made close, thankfully, for us towards the end. It's still a shame what happened in Russia when Ant was taken out from the lead. It'll be a very interesting title race today. Still the possibility of ending today, just the ball swinging basically in Ant's favour. But this is where we're at, and well, it's still definitely doable for Danskar. Of course, he really did make things a lot easier for himself. He definitely put a lot of pressure off himself with that absolutely dominant win in Mexico last week in the wet. Absolutely dominant win. And he did what he had to do to get 2nd place in that one to minimise the loss, and so it is still doable, but definitely not over by any means. But a win today for Danskar, and it basically is over. It's a big ask to overturn 19 points in one race. It's not impossible, of course, but difficult indeed. As we can chat a bit more about the title and such as the race unfolds. At the moment, it is still Danskar. He's in 2nd on a set of the soft compound tires. Did he set a lap time on the? He did set a lap time on his soft. So, whereas Ant is still in the pit, so Ant I think probably waiting until the end. I wonder if Danskar will end up doing a super soft run when all is said and done here. Risky Racer, meanwhile, a couple of guys into the 8s, actually quite close between. Pretty much, Danskar, Risky Racer, Plays, and Sir Lane. They're all in the 8s, in the 8-9s for that matter. So 1,000 the difference between Danskar and Risky Racer there for P2 and 3. We'll go on board with Ant as Alex then pops himself into 2nd, 108.7. So the Haas boys have got a front row lockout for the time being. So they're doing what they have to do for this constructor's title for now. But of course, it's a long race, and as Howitzer retires, you want to be doing the 1 stop here if you can. Although if you're starting on supers, you might consider the 2 stop. and do a super soft run. And I think Dansgaard is bailing on this lap and he's going to pull into the pits. Sir Lane still trundling along on a set of mediums. Still in the 8s, he's definitely one to watch, as he usually is. To be fair, if Sir Lane was in the title or in ILR6 from the beginning, I do think he would be well, pretty much handily out in front of the title, and would have it wrapped up by this stage. He's won 3 races in this space since Belgium, since he joined ILR6, and a 3rd place in Mexico as well, so he's coming into the pits. But he's clearly been the quickest car driver in that time, since Belgium basically. He's been right up there. Singapore was an interesting one. He really should have won that after starting pole there very easily. A couple of races where that's happened, where he absolutely dominates his way to pole position, like it doesn't look even close, usually on a different compound, and just for a couple of reasons it hasn't worked out in the race, but he's going to finish 3rd in the standings. I don't think anything can really stop that now, especially if he finishes anything today. Basically that's confirmed. But to get P3 out of how many races? What, 2, 3, 4, 5, they say 6, 7 races, as of right now, let alone the last few when all said and done. As Red pops himself up to 2nd, 8.7 for Red, but then his teammate just comes right in behind him and immediately dethrones him for P2. Not much to dethrone there, but 8.5. There is regular corner cushioning being run, so it does mean you can run quite wide. You can take quite a bit out of turns 1 and 2, so there is that to consider. I wish it was strict, because people really do exploit that very easily, but there you go. Penalties do usually play a part in Brazil on strict, but we'll see what happens with regular. Hopefully we get to see some driver skill on display as we get down to the nitty gritty in qualifying. Just 3 minutes remaining. I think Risky's pushing for another lap, so he's really pushing. His teammate right behind him as well, so no, it's a tough one to. It's up in the air whether to do a second lap on the supers. You want to get these supers. I believe it's lap. I'm trying to remember off the top. I did a race around Brazil recently myself. I believe it's lap either 8 or 10. I think it's around 10 or so. You want to try and get those supers too. And if you're on sauce, you want to get them to closer to lap 13, 14, 15 kind of territory. Maybe 11 for the supers. And then mediums the rest of the way. So we've not got a lot of runners left in qualifying here. Charlotte went P2 and retired. Bill is on outlap on another set of supers. Danskar, also have him emerging yet. Ant is out. And I can't help but wonder if Danskar may have gone too soon on his softs. If the ultimate plan was to wait for his softs till the end, would he be better off going out around this time, or will he stick on a set of the super softs? Tough decision, but interesting what these two Haas's do. We're getting close to the end. You get 2 more runs if they've crossed the line at this stage. Of course, Brazil, Interlagos, it's a very short track, one of the shortest lap times of the season, sub 1 minute 10s. So as you can see, I'm sorry, ITU has done 10 laps on mediums. That is absolutely bonkers. I just realised that now. Jack Gooding has been pretty quiet in P15 on the softs, Pro Opa on supers, and then starting a lap. If that was strict, that'd be invalidated, but of course it is not. Can we pick up someone a bit further along the road? Plays then is going very slowly. Danskar then, I don't think he will not be making another run in this qualifying session. We're going with Jack Gooding. So that is Danskar then at least P7. And the unfortunate thing for him is that unless Ant has a mare of a lap, he's going to jump him, because there's only 2 tenths difference between the two, and step compound softer. Or sorry, Ant is on fresher tyres. Jack Gooding then pops into P10. He's got time for 1 more lap. Ant then vaults himself into P2, and then Bill just 2 tenths ahead of that on the super. So the lap's coming in thick and fast. Alex then pumped in the lap as well. He's up to 4th. Plays getting through sector 2. We'll see if we can pick up anyone. There's a apologies if you hear revving outside. Absolute I won't say anymore. Is there anyone getting close to the end of a lap? We're almost at the end of qualifying. Risky racer, here we go. He's just starting a lap actually, so I take it back. Lane just going through turn 4 and 5. Baza getting ready to start a lap as well. I am absolutely flabbergasted. It's you has gone for. Is he coming in now? That's bizarre. He's still carrying on. He's basically done almost a half a race stint on the on those mediums. So Bill, I think, is done. He won't play any further part. Ant might be on another lap. We'll have to see. Alex then coming through. Jun Sao, Risky Racer just coming through. So I think Alex will be the first one then to complete one more lap. The checkered flag is out. So here we go then. There's a Haas on the front row at the moment. It will not be joined by another as Alex dives into the pits. Sir Lane then next to cross the line and pits. Sir Lane then goes third fastest, 108.4, just behind. And where's Jack Gooding? He's heading out of the final corner. He's ahead of the rest of them there, and he's slowing down, so he will be pulling into the pits. Who is next up then? It must be Risky Racer. As he rounds Jun Sao one last time in qualifying, and he dives into the pits as well, so he wasn't able to find anything on this lap. TGIP Plays, that might be the first time I've ever said that name full, but here he goes then. He's actually going to stay out, so he's not going to bail out on this lap, and he comes across the line and goes P2. Does a big favour for his teammate there. 108.3, but his softs are quite old. 4 laps he spent on those softs. Oh, and there's I thought I saw a car demolished. So there you go then. Some interesting placements on this grid. Bill then taking pole position on the Supers, but Plays then in second. The sister McLaren to the title leader Danskar then, who is starting this race from 10th on the softs. So he's going to need, Danskar's going to have to need his teammate to do a big favour for him. But the start will be so key. The short run down to turn 1. We can get into that in a little bit. That absolutely flew by. That was not too bad. So Bill then starts on pole position ahead of Plays in second, Ant in third, Baza fourth, Sir Lane in fifth. Look how closely the top 8 are covered, all covered by less than 3/10. Charlotte 6th, Alex 7th, Risky Racer 8th, Red 9th, Danskar 10th, Jack Gooding 11th, Proba 12th, Beesma 13th, Jacko 14th, Howitzer 15th, Crumpet 16th, Murdoch 17th, U 18th, Khalifa 19th, and Rob in 20th. So it's a dry race. I can confirm that for you as well. So I did fear that it would be wet and that Danskar would just run away to a 40-second win, but that's not the case. There's a few people displeased in the ILR6 chat on Twitter, but here we go then. Getting ready for the start of this one. This should be interesting. Interesting. The title can end today in ILR6 now. All I have to say is that's interesting. Yeah, great. You're really good. Great. So anyways, the sun, as mentioned, strategies will be interesting. I do expect a one-stop for many of these guys. I think you can. It's tough to make the one-stop work from Supers, although the temperatures being obviously there's an update for F1 2018 since last we spoke, and basically you can just run whatever tire pressures you want. Basically, the tire temperature almost doesn't exist. Like carcass temperature almost doesn't even matter anymore. That's how much it's been nullified after the whole exposition of the frame rate. The whole, if you've seen that video on YouTube about the frame rate, how the tire carcass and the wear is more when you run at say 60 frames compared to say people who run at a higher frame, or 30 frames, that matter, whatever it is, and you compared to it, if you run at a higher frame rate, you have better wear and temperatures. But the tire situation, then let's go through this in detail then. So Bill, Baza, Alex, Risky Racer, Red in the top 10 starting on the super softs. Outside the top 10 on super softs is only, Khalifa, who is the only car outside the top 10 on super soft, so he's going aggressive. He's probably got pace too, to be fair, so we'll see what happens there. Soft compound tyres, the majority of the field running this. Plays, Ant, Sir Lane, Charlotte, Danskar, Jack Gooding, Beesma, oh dear, there's a disqualification, Howitzer, Murdoch, you, Rob, all running the sauce, and then a couple of medium runners, 3 to be exact, Crumpet, Jacko, 2 Ferraris going with the mediums, and Pro Opa then. So Pro Opa from 12th is a little surprising running those mediums, so we'll see how he gets on with those. But the big thing to watch out here at the start is, can Ant get the jump on Plays? And if he can't, can Plays do anything to help his teammate from P2? Danskar's got a lot of work to do from P10. Now he's the start, he might not get anyone. He's got 3 cars in front of him on supers, and they should get better grip off the line. We will go on board with Ant to start this one. It's a short run, and Plays has the inside line for turn 2, so difficult to make an overtake. Always recipe for carnage to begin this one. Let's see how it all unfolds. So title could end today in ILR6. Will it be Ant? Will it be Danskar? Or will it go one further? Actually, it can't be Ant because it's he's 12 points behind. But it could go. Will it be Danskar, or will it go one further to Abu Dhabi? We shall find out over the course of the next 36 laps how it will all unfold. If the lights would ever want to show up, we can get this party started. Anyone? I'm a little concerned. We're still waiting. There we go. Finally, good grief. Good 5 red lights. That was the longest wait in history. And away we go. That was a good start for Ant. A bit of wheel spin for Danskar then. And Baza storming through on the inside. His ghost car by the looks of it. So I'm not sure what's happened there. But anyways, they go back through, and Ant has got the jump on Plays. Oh, I thought there was going to be a little bit of contact there front to rear. Looks like Baza's the one that lost connection. How's the behaviour at the back? Oh, Charlotte having to go up Plays as well, heading down towards turn 4. I run a bit wide at the... Is that McLaren? As they head up towards the hill. Risky Racer going for a move down the inside. Can he get Plays as well? He's got Charlotte. And down the inside, can he get Plays? If his inside comes to the outside, next turn. And a bit of wheel banging, side by side, more wheel banging. Oh, they've been shoved off the track. But they do survive somehow. And Plays keeps that P3 for the moment, but at the front it is Bill ahead of Ant, Plays, Risky Racer, Charlotte, Sirlane, Jack Gunny with a good start. Renault going very wide. Don't think he's got wing damage. Danskar then has got himself up to 8th to start. Beesman 9th, Alex 10th, Red 11th, Basil 12th, Jacko 13th, Khalifa 14th, U 15th, Proba 16th, Howard 17th, Murdoch 18th, Crumpet 19th, Rob 20th then, as Bill is absolutely torn away from this one already, 1.9 seconds ahead, but that is to be expected. He is on the super soft tyre. Shalosh going down the inside of turn 1 on Risky Racer, couldn't get that move done as he unwinds from the curve of the Sol. There's a lot of cars behind him, to be fair. Can Sirlane get a move done? Risky Racer's gone defensive. A little bit of contact between Racer and Shalosh. Is that going to allow Sirlane through? Shalot's off the track, and that will allow Sirlane to pop through into P5, and Jack Gunning just behind this as well. Has to be careful not to get involved, and he's going to go for a move here. Is Jack down the inside in towards turn 8, and he's got that move done. So Charlotte then losing a lot of positions early here, and Danskar right behind him. Key thing for Danskar in traffic is not to lose that front wing or damage it. Not a great track, Brazil, to lose part of your front wing. A lot of high-speed corners here that you need to carry through, mostly through the middle sector actually as well as some of the high-speed corners as well through sector 1. But Bill's still leading the way, 2.5 seconds ahead of Ant. Plays then in third. The thing we have to remember about Plays is he did 4 laps on his qualifying tyre, so that's one thing to bear in mind. He will be quicker, those softs will be quicker to go, and that's through by way of a corner cut a bit. That has a better run for Sirlane. Damn risky, and the DRS has now been enabled. Of course the laps do fly here, they're being so short. Again, Risky Racer's gone defensive, almost made contact with Sirlane, and Danskar's got himself by Charlotte then to P7. So Danskar making moves here early on. A lot of the super soft runners have been dispatched already. So you can see a lot of change between, we saw a good, like at least 3 or 4 in the around the 6 to 10 range on the Superstars. That has not been the case now. You see a lot of people lost ground here. Risky Racer has made some good ground. Jack Gooding as well as you. It's you rather. He's up into 11th place on the sauce. Medias haven't really worked out for those guys so far. Got Baza and Khalifa who went ultra aggressive, and there's Red there as well. They went all very, very aggressive to start this race. To Khalifa on the supers. He's got to make quick work of these guys. He's to make that work. Baza then gets by Red, and a bear run for Khalifa as well. We'll get him by Red, and can he get by that as well? We'll go back to the front here though. Risky and Sirlane. Sirlane cutting his way through this field. Oh, a little bit of contact front to rear from Risky. That's going to allow Jack Gooding to nip on through and take P5. So Risky Racer losing a few positions there. Just as... oh, there's contact, and Jack Gooding and Risky are in the wall. Probably desync. I'd have to say that everyone else has to be so careful to avoid the damage. That is excellent news for the likes of Beesma, Charlotte and Danskar in particular, as they just get by 2 cars there for free. So I'm sure it will be a scary incident for the 2 of them. That will not go down well. I believe, well, definitely Risky's got wing damage. I think Jack Gooding could be okay, but they'll lose a lot of position there. It's absolute carnage down this end of the field as they try and get by that stricken Renault. Absolute madness. Risky, to be fair, Risky has been pushing a lot of people quite wide when it comes down to that corner, heading down towards turn 4. So perhaps it's not surprising then that that did end up in an accident this time round, and Jacko then losing position. Jacko again, his middle lane should be like front wing damage, because that's all I've seen him with this season. Basically, is front wing damage. That right front has always got damage. As Charlotte then gets by Danskar, and there's overtake going on behind it as well. Is there? There's 2 Sabres very, very close as well. So Danskar then losing a place, but can he get it back? As Risky comes into the pits to change that wing. Here's the issue you can get at Brazil. It's a DRS train. Basically, this track, if you get within DRS, if the car in front of you has got DRS, that is a huge problem. That really does affect overtaking. You could easily be following another car for 18 laps or so, or whatever the case may be. But purely by way of overtaking can be difficult at Brazil, and it's, yeah, if you're caught in the DRS train, that's basically what this is at the moment, between Sirlane, Charlotte, Danskar, Beesma and you. And Alex you can throw into that equation as well, as he kind of catches up to the back here. No flag was there going through this section, as Crumpet gets a penalty. So we'll go on board. We'll go back with this battle then for 4th place. Sirlane then at the head of this train. I think we might have an overtake though between the 2 Sabres in a second. Seems like the closest of the pair. And DRS has not been activated on that Sabre, so I'm guessing either DRS is not working, or Beesma has just let his teammate go. Charlotte back in, looking twitchy there. And Danskar then, that unsettled the car. That put Sirlane at a disadvantage, and then that's going to put Danskar right behind him. But can he get by? No, he can't. Again, look at the DRS, like it's just nothing you can do about it. Oh, Sirlane going to go for a lunge. He thought about it. Will that leave him exposed on the outside? No. Danskar unable to get going. And heading up this hill then, the track is so narrow that's very, very difficult to make an overtake here, because it's literally 2 cars width, literally, and it's very, very close. Any mistake, you have to be so I would say skilled, I think, in many ways, to hold a battle side by side up that hill, because it's so narrow. You have to put absolute trust in the person you're driving next to. They're not going to squeeze or any sudden movements or anything like that. And it's a risky one. It's a nice helicopter shot. I thought I had a nice helicopter shot there for a second. What this is doing though is allowing the others to get absolutely away. Charlotte 5 seconds now behind plays, and this is definitely limiting Danskar, and he's coming under attack as well from you. That's right, you. And that's going to be another position then lost for Danskar. Can he fight back into turn 1? No, he can't. Charlotte and Sirlane again side by side going through turns 1 and 2 and through the curve of the Sol. It's Sirlane who takes that position off of Charlotte. Can he keep it this time? Beesma's right there as well. Beesma's showing some, or sorry, you showing absolutely great pace, and Sirlane absolutely being wolfed without DRS. And Charlotte takes that position back from Sirlane. This is what I mean. It is constant swapping at the front, like kind of with DRS and such. It is just kind of that's what Brazil is in many ways. It seems to Hockenheim in many ways as well when it comes to kind of switching. It's just who has DRS on who, and can you get by. That's basically what this track is. And if you have a gap, great. If you don't, then you're in big trouble. It's going to be very difficult for you to break that gap. For example, Alex is still within DRS of all these guys, and they're all within DRS of each other. And again, because it's such a short track, and Charlotte can't really break free. We have a situation where Sir Lane can have another go and overtake, although he will be under pressure from behind. Can you see? Look at that shot; it's absolutely getting demolished. But can he hold the position? Sir Lane are going to go again side by side through turns 1 and 2, and Sir Lane then holding on. Sorry, he's taking that place back. Actually, topping and changing. And again, Sir Lane. This one is this time without DRS, and then Charlotte and you. Will you get it as well? Oh, a little bit of contact. Dansgaard's got to be careful. Can he sneak through on you? Looks like he has. So battling then is well, it's costing these guys a lot of time. First of all, but constant change of position. Look at Khalifa. Khalifa's already come up. Basically, he's cleared all that traffic basically, and he's in 9th place. He's 4 seconds behind this battle. But given how these guys are battling, we could easily see him catch up to the back. Meanwhile, at the front here, the gap has come down between Bill and Ant. As the superstars are beginning to wear, and the DRS for Ant as well. Bill's going to try to defend it. Oh, and Bill has had a big mistake in the braking zone, and he's completely overcooked it. And Ant nips on by. You can see how that was playing out all along. And Dansgaard then, and you still battling. You almost got by again. Gets a good run, much better run out of turn 2 and out of the covered assault. Turn 3 now, even though Dansgaard's got DRS, the momentum that you has is just pushing him forward. And he could have gone for a move there, to be fair, but decided against it. Maybe just waiting for the DRS on the following lap before making another move. Alex has kind of dropped out of this just a bit, and Haas need every point they can get. There's some battle going on back here though. It is Rob and Crumpet getting by. So then, now that Bill has been dispatched by Ant, it'd be interesting to see how where Bill goes from here for the Supersofts. Plays not too far behind this either, to be fair. Well, a second and a half or so behind Ant, but has that dirty air of that Haas in front of him, who elects not to pit this time. And again, it's tough to break away, even with a tyre difference. It's tough to break away because the DRS really is very, very effective around here. But he's got enough of a margin at the moment as Ant to stay in front. I think this could be the lap he breaks free of DRS. So initially it was tough. Meanwhile, it's still tough for Dansgaard. He's still having to fight his way through so many cars. And with so many battles, surely one of them is going to go wrong at some point. Again, a good run for you heading onto this straight. And he's got DRS as well. And this time he should be a lot further along, side by side this time, to make a move stick down the inside into turn 4. So a little bit of contact there, but regardless, you gets by. And again, constant change happening throughout the top 10 on lap 10. Dansgaard then down into 7th place. So Ant then looking like he has broken DRS for the moment, and plays not quite close enough to really mount an attack despite having DRS on Bill. 8/10 was a little bit too far. I think Ant has then broken it. 1.1 second. He'll flag in sector 3. Not sure who that's for. We'll go back on board, and again very close up here actually as you going for another move, trying to take this one back off Sir Lane. He was in front of him, and he's looked to be the aggressor. He's got some good pace here. And look, they're absolutely demolishing Charlotte down the straight. Oh, that's very, very dangerous stuff. Not a lot of space given there. That could have easily ended up in tears, and Sir Lane with the DRS benefit as Plays gets by Bill. Oh, but he's overcooked it out of turn 4, and that should allow Bill to nip back through. Sir Lane has got by Charlotte. Hughes just too far back this time. And can Charlotte get him on exit? No. Heading up the hill again. It's tough to have a lunge down the inside with track being so narrow, and the corner shaped the way it is cuts off quite quickly, and it's not really a place you can go for a dive unless you're right alongside the car. If you're behind, forget about it. Beautiful helicopter shot. They're still 8 seconds behind Play, so this hasn't really worked out. And Plays is losing time to Ant in first. And again, plays not really close enough to make an overtake yet. He just hasn't got close enough, but could he be helped by Bill coming into the pits? No. I thought he was going to come into the pits, but evidently not, and he started lap 12. But we are getting close though to where there will be a stop made on those supers. Charlotte then takes P4 back from Sir Lane, and it's you has had a moment and he's on the AstroTurf and he loses the position then. The Danskar, he got caught in the wrong place, cooked his braking and ran wide at turn 1. That has allowed Danskar to go through. Sir Lane and Charlotte again trading places, so it's going to be interesting to see which of these two pit first, and if anyone can get an undercut on the other. Difficult to undercut on mediums because they do take a bit of time to heat up and they're not great to begin. They do not feel very good. They will not give a lot of grip, but once they're up to temperature they will be good for the rest of the race. But not a tire you can particularly undercut with. When I say undercut with, I mean like as in you pit and then the first lap, the lap afterwards, the lap which would be the in lap of the car you're trying to undercut. The mediums, once you get to temperature, if you pit first, yours obviously comes to temperature first, and that's the lap. When those come into temperature, that's the lap advantage you will gain over the car you pitted beforehand. And usually, that's the first full lap of the medium. So it'll be not the out lap, it will be the first full lap. As Danskar and you go side by side, you actually got on the grass a bit. Can he stay in front? He can. Charlotte on Sir Lane again, side by side, and Plays. Can he finally get the move done this time? Plays. He spent long enough behind this Haas, down the inside into turn 4. He's going to get the move done, is he? No, runs wide again. And Bill is going to pick up the pieces and again get by. Sir Lane has got by Charlotte once again. So it is constant change. No one, the only people really safe really are is Ant at the front here. He's got the gap, and not even Plays obviously because he's not even got by Bill yet. As they're still frantically trying to juke this one out. Meanwhile, Alex is falling back. Khalifa getting a little closer, but I mean, they're not really taking advantage of these guys constantly squabbling. It's been basically a 10-lap squabble between this group. And surely, if this has to be the lap where Plays finally gets this move done. But I wonder if Bill will peel into the pits. He does. So lap 13 then. It is time for those ultras to be. He's going to speed into the pit lane. Is he? No, he's slowed down just in time. So now Plays has lost a good chunk of time. He was about a second and a half behind, and now he's 5 seconds behind now. And so there's some action into the pits. It's Charlotte and you battling here, but we have got Bill into the pits as well as Sir Lane. Early pits off for Sir Lane on those softs. Possibly want to get a head start and get those mediums up to temperature, and hopefully for him, he'll be hoping for a bit of establish on track position and break DRS. He'll be hoping, because without that, I mean, there's no reason to believe that this won't continue for the rest of this race, basically. So mediums both for Bill and Sir Lane. So Bill's made that strategy work quite well then. 13 laps on the super, so it's about what you want to do. Getting closer to lap 15, 16, where these softs are going, are the ones you want to be, or the pit window for softs is coming soon. So then what do Charlotte and Danskar do then? I imagine Alex and Khalifa will pit this lap, but what will Charlotte and Danskar do? What will It's You do? Who's going to respond to this? Plays is in. He must get a head start on this. You will carry on, Charlotte will carry on, and obviously Danskar will have to carry on as well with his teammate into the pits. So interesting that they stayed out. The top, well, still 4 runners in the top 4 on softs, they stayed out. But mediums then for Plays, and I imagine Jack Gooding into the pits as well. I imagine he'll do the same thing, and is replacing that nose. His nose was damaged then in that incident with Risky Racer. Medium tires for him, and he will be going to the end of this race. Danskar over the back of Charlotte. He is nearly 13 seconds now behind Ant in first, so he's going to be losing some significant ground as things stand. But we'll see. Interesting if Bill will actually come out in front of Ant, or Ant will he get an overcut by staying out. Surely we'll find out soon. He's going to come in this lap, surely, is he? Or will he go for one more? He's coming in. So the race leader is coming in. brakes, get himself slowed down for the speed limit. There you go then. So Ant is into the pits. And the rest follow then. It's you is going to carry on. I believe Charlotte's going to enter the pits. And Danskar right behind him as well. To make sure to slow down in time, and they do. So mediums for Ant then. As I would imagine the rest of these guys will do. And where's Bill? Bill's the one to watch here. Is Ant already on his way out, sliding his way out. Let's be careful. I think he's got. I think actually Ant has actually stormed this. To be fair, he's going to emerge a couple of seconds ahead of Bill and in front of Khalifa as well. So that's a nice bit of clear track for Ant. He is convincingly cleared Bill. How about Sir Lane then? Sir Lane has definitely got the jump then on Charlotte and Danskar. Excuse me, there we go. So Sir Lane then, 2 laps on those mediums. He's got some good ground covered, and that will hurt him near the end of the race. But the older these tyres get, I swear Crump is going to get disqualified here. He's had so many warnings and penalties. He's literally the only one to get warnings for a corner cutting. I have to look at this because I would love to see where he's doing them, because he has to be cutting turn 1 literally. How else can you get a warning and penalties around Brazil on regular corner cutting? There's no other way. So I have to have a look for that. So Plays then is just behind Bill, and Danskar is in 10th out of DRS. So that's where things stand with that. Bill, they'll get by Khalifa because Khalifa is into the pits. He'll flag in sector 2. Is that Howitzer? Might have had a spin. Right, I want to watch this. Oh, he's taking the Brazil 2010 time trial line, I believe. Oh dear. I've got to watch more of this though. This is going to be too good. I know Plays is right behind Bill, but this has to be seen to believe. Oh, I'll pick it up another time. As Khalifa then emerges from the pits to be just ahead of Beesman, or to be just behind him. Or is he just behind him? So he will. You still going on those. How is this possible? Oh, he didn't go into the pits. Wow, this is ludicrous. Oh, I need to see more of this later though. I have to pick that back up. Seriously, how? Oh my goodness. Oh, he's gonna get disqualified. I have to keep watching. I really do. This deserves at least 1 lap in its full glory. This has to be intentional. There's no way. No one else is kind of really close to each other on track. It's kind of just, I think some people just trying to make up gaps. So we're going to stick with this. I know Beesman's right behind. Oh, and Howard's is out. So safety car will make things very interesting right now. Is that a VSC? No, it's just Crumpet slowing down for no reason. That's Propa and Beesman, he gets by. Right, I have to see this. I really do. Like, it is absolutely incredible. It really is. His teammate Jacko's right behind him as well. Please do it. Oh dear. Oh, that's poor. And then gets by Alex, who basically just lets him by really for P2. Of course, Sir Alex has yet to make a stop, and he's taken those tyres a long way, arguably way too far for a set of supers. That's a ridiculous stint. Really, he's got to have a puncture soon. If he's not in this lap, he's going to get a puncture next lap surely, and he does come in. Surprisingly, U is still carried on, so those tyres must be getting fairly battered at this stage as well. And yeah, but he's still out there. I'm guessing his reason for doing it is if he stuck to the normal strategies, he wouldn't have a chance of winning in a sense. But if he does this, he could have a tyre advantage at the end, and maybe use that to gain a few positions. So I'm guessing that's what the deal is. As much to be in very, very soon. Well, Jacko just behind his corner cutting teammate. It's going to happen. He's going to get disqualified, and it's going to be very, very soon. Like, that is utterly gas. Can't imagine what Jacko thinks behind him. Not even an attempt to make the corner. I know he's got wing damage and all, but that's just too funny. Meanwhile, I actually do have some people going side by side here. There is a 2 Force Indies, Khalifa, and then there's Pro Open, the Torosso, then Jacko just behind him. So finally a bit of a battle emerging on track as Jack Gooding trying to hang around the outside of Probe, who's got a lot older. Oh, swipes across. That could have easily been a piece of wing flying off that Force India. Probe has got a lot more wear on those tyres, 18 laps old. So he is struggling, and Bass's right behind this too. So actually, now that I mention it, this is actually the worst running I've seen for the two Mercedes in a long time. Usually they're in the top 10, or at least qualifying in the top 10, and they did, but they are just nowhere at the moment. 13th and 14th respectively. And I believe that was very, very dangerous. Probe breaking into the pits when there's absolutely no need to. That almost took a wheel off of Jack's car. That could have been really, really bad, because he was just following the slipstream and basically just almost got his wheel taken off. Right then, the battle of the century, or will it? Oh, I can't help but laugh. You then still carrying on. I'm at this stage, I'm believing he's going to do soft supers. That's what's happening here. That's the only explanation now for this, at this stage. For this, he's going soft supers, and honestly, at this stage, he's taken softs 20 laps. He could take supers 14 and 15 at this stage. I'd imagine he'll come in at the end of this lap, but that has to be what's going on. In that case, he's going to be a very interesting car to watch for the second stint if that's the case, because the well, he's 23. He'll definitely pop out behind Dan's car, or just behind Dan's car, if not in front of him. He'll definitely pop out ahead of Alex, and he's going to be rapid as well. So that's going to be really interesting to see. He's lost a. Oh, he obviously lost a decent bit of time to Ant here, but I'd imagine that's what's happening. So we'll go on board. Check out this helicopter shot as he fly through into Sector 2 and up the hill in Sector 3, Junsao, and Crumpet pits. Finally, I imagine, will you follow him? He will, and Crumpet retires before he faces the disgrace of being disqualified. And that's probably for the best, really, but that's going to be interesting for the stewards to look at. Alright then, there's a lot of separation has happened, unfortunately, for the second part of this race with the mediums, but let's see then. It is super soft, so that much I was correct on at least. Now, where will he emerge? Actually, he could easily, he might emerge in front of Dan's car even still. This is going to be really, really interesting. He'll emerge behind Sir Lane, but he'll emerge in front of Shalosh? Yes, he will. That's a very interestingly placed car then for this second part of the race. He's on super softs, and he is, that's the wrong thing, 10 seconds behind Ant. His tyres might be knackered near the end, but he could definitely pull himself on this podium. Can you? And I wonder if he could go for the race win. He will have to get by 4 cars in front of him to do that, at least 3 to get to P2, but he's already right on the back of Sir Lane. Where did he qualify actually? I keep doing that, wrong one. He qualified, so he was well out of place then for qualifying, so we didn't really see his true pace in qualifying. So, but clearly, I have to say, you'd have to say he's the fastest man on track. There's no way that he can be considered not be. He's going to make a mincemeat then of Sir Lane, and now, running along, it's paid off. His pace must have been really, really good on those softs. I have to check the lap times when the race quieted down a bit. Which you can actually do. Oh, if Sir Lane doesn't get by, we can actually do it now. The key thing is breaking DRS. Can he see Sir Lane? Can he get back in front? If he can't, he's going to lose him, and he can't. I suspect that'll be the last you'll see of that Sauber. So let's have a look at this then, because I have to see this. So let's look at this point of reference, for example. So we're Ant lapping in the 11s, then the 12s, high 11s, low 12s, basically. Whereas you, despite running all those laps on the softs, it's 11.2, so he's consistently into the 11s, and then a 12, probably into the 12s, and lap 19 and 20. So it just shows you the absolute pace he has, and he's already blitzed Sir Lane, and he's going to get right to the back of play soon. Won't be within DRS at this straight, but I suspect heading down the next time round he certainly will be. This could be a big moment in terms of the championship, because if he takes the win off of Ant, that's 7 points that Ant is not going to get, compared to second place, which gives 18 points. We can look at title permutations and stuff later, but for the moment we're going to continue to watch this though, as you charges on these super softs. It'll be interesting to see. He's not got a lot of ERS, and he's going to have to hope he catches this group sooner rather than later, because the more and more time goes on, the more unlikely he'll be able to make a move on these supers. But given how his pace has been so good up to this point, he's got to avoid accidents though, that's for sure. Given how his pace has been so good up to this point, I can't imagine he'd have too much issues then when it comes to catching up to them to the front. But has to be careful not to get wind damage, because that would absolutely ruin the stint, and nothing really that players can do about this. As he swoops around the outside and just around when the DRS activation point is enabled, then he nips through and takes P3 already. He is 6 seconds behind Ant, so I suspect he's going to get him. What a drive this will be. If he takes the lead, we can talk about title permutations then, but for now it's still there for the taking for the moment. This race win for Ant, but he'll know, I'm sure, that there is a charging Sauber. If he doesn't, well, he'll know as soon as Jack Gooding retires from the race. Let's see if we can find out where he was on the track. Any sign of a safety car? Doesn't look like it. I'm trying to see where that is. Oh, it's on the main straight then. Maybe he was in the pits. Oh, and Biesma's round. And Rob and Murdoch then get by him. A lap down, of course, is Rob. Look at this, already within DRS of Bill. It's you. He's just wolfed up that gap. It's actually might not even be close in the end. This race, he's gonna absolutely blitz it. It seems. A little bit of movement not in the braking zone, but the movement after that almost put you off there. But there you go. He moves into second place and should make quick work of this gap to Ant then. So yeah, it's an interesting one. That, let me look at the let me look at this for a second. He's a reserve driver, is he not? Sorry, I'm just trying to see where yeah, he has to be. I think he must be a reserve driver, surely. Unless I'm mixing that up. But because obviously it was Fernandez in the Sauber beforehand. But anyway, sorry, don't mind me as I get distracted with these things. I just wanted to see if any results. I just wanted to see if he was in any other races before, and if he had any other results, because I was just trying to search for a point of reference, like in terms of where on earth this pace has come from, like. So strange one that, but well, there is a little battle developing here, and we finally got something here. It is Danskar and Shaw, and this will be a big one for Danskar if he can get by. But he's got a lot more ERS than Shaw has, so this has been a car that Danskar has been with most of this race, and Serlane not too far in front either. So those three have been separated somewhat, but Danskar has closed up a bit, and now at the front. I mean, what can Ant do in this situation, really, when it comes to these tyres? Nothing he can do. He's just that much quicker today, is you. And, well, he's got to hope for an accident of some sort. Excuse me. Because otherwise, there is not a hope of stopping that Sauber, as Danskar can't get close enough to Charlotte, heading down to turn 1. Stick with the battle for the lead of the race. And not able to get anything done this time around. But surely only a matter of time before makes that move. It's going to be very, very, very soon. Very, very soon. As I try to... Okay, so there we go. Right. Anyways, lap 28.36. I was just having a look at it. Again, I was just trying to look at see if he was around beforehand, but he is not. And he will make quick work of Ant for P1. And that changes the dynamic of the title race there. We fight back, and he's going to try to, but really, what can he do at this stage? You can hope those tyres go off, but I think the pace is just too strong. I think it's you will just coast from here. So then, now that's kind of been decided as such, you can talk title permutations. We've basically, in the last 10 laps, there's not a ton going on. Well, I guess, actually... I missed it, but Danskar's got by Charlotte then. So that's all right, you can have a bit more to play with then in terms of looking at the title picture then if Danskar is ahead of Charlotte then. So 12 points separate Danskar from Ant. Ant is getting 18 races, 18 points as things stand, and Danskar is getting 8. So that would leave a 2-point gap heading 2-point gap for Danskar heading into the last race into Abu Dhabi, where literally whoever finishes ahead will basically win effectively. And there won't be any rain. I can almost certainly guarantee there won't be any rain to help Danskar out in Abu Dhabi. If Ant somehow manages to regain the lead, that would obviously turn it into a 25 points. It would be a 7. Oh, there's a lot of lag going on. Oh, please don't cut out. Yes, what would it be? A 7. It was 2 points. It'd be a 5-point lead. If it was a 2-point deficit, then if it finishes second, it'd be a 5-point lead then into the last race for Ant. But that's not how things stand at the moment. It would be just 2 points, and that would certainly make things very, very interesting in India. I think Ant has drove brilliantly, but I think it's you. I think it's just too quick for ILR6. I mean, he's come from 18th and has done 20 laps on the softs and then coming for supers. I've not seen too many people do the soft to super run and be as quick as that. So I do think that's a thing. So I wonder if that'll be a change made for next time around. Flex Sector 2, anything going on? Red is forever stuck in the pits, and Sir Lane pits. That's an interesting one. I'd imagine he's going for fastest lap, but that's a... Well, he could basically come in and get... He's losing 1 place, basically. 2 places, rather. So that put that... that's a weird one. That puts Danskar into 5th then, so that is 2 extra points then for Danskar, which would mean the gap will be 4 points. Heading into... That's a big one. That's a big mode, actually, because I'd imagine Plays will slow down and let his teammate go. That'll be another 2 points then for Plays, or for Danskar then, which means the gap will be 6 points heading into the last round. That's a strange one from Sir Lane, I have to be honest. I'm not sure, and he's retired in the pits. I'm not sure. So, I mean, what can I say? I shouldn't have pitted. And Yu is out as well, so Yu has binned it somewhere. Where has he been that? He's lost it somewhere coming out of Junset. There's his car in there. I'm guessing he must have intentionally crashed. It's a VSC out. I would guess he can't go in like that, surely, unless you've come across a back marker or something. But that puts everyone up in position. That puts Ant then back into the lead of this race. And actually, that won't do anything really. If Plays lets Danskar go, it would still be 10 points gained. So the gap would still be 2 points. Just change things a bit, actually, to be fair. So anyways, Look under racing, there's a lot happened there. So Sir Lane, in the blink of an eye, Sir Lane and It's You retired from that race. So interesting stuff. But let's go back up because Charlotte's just still behind Danskar, and I don't know, it'd be difficult to let plays by with Charlotte so close still to the back of Danskar. So we'll see how that unfolds. Lap 32 of 36. VSC is out, and we'll get racing, I'm sure, in just a moment. There it is. We are racing again. So risky business if Plays wants to let his teammate go, but he has to in many ways, doesn't he? But Charlotte's right there, so it really is up to Danskar to really pull a gap if he can, and then we'll see if any changes take place after that. Lap 32 of 36, and then beginning lap 33, got a 3-second lead over Bill in second, steady second for Bill. Plays been a steady third as well, and everywhere it's after all that where all the change begins. Danskar then just pulling out a second. He has broken DRS, at least heading down the main straight, at least for now. And that looks like it remains the case. So then, do they wait then till lap 36 then to make the switch? I'd imagine that's probably the case. But we'll find out soon enough. It's really the only interesting thing left on track to really kind of decide. So it's a shame that the second half of this race kind of did settle down a bit. The first stint was really interesting, really interesting. A lot of people were very close, but people did use the opportunity when the pit stops came to kind of come in early, and that did break DRS. Sir Lane worked out for him. As yeah, the pit lane glitch for Sir Lane, he's just confirming. So what can I say, man? Shouldn't have pitted when you were sat in P4 basically. I may as well ask him. May as well at this stage. May as well check the YouTube comments as well while we're here. Sir Lane, pit lane glitch happens. Sir Lane pitted from 4th and ended up getting the pit lane glitch, and that's what forced him to retire. And It's You, just looking through some of these, It's You qualified in 18th. I don't think he actually set a time. Okay, so Sir Lane says the tyres were going. Okay. So that's an interesting one, because Alex was a long way behind as well. Alex was like 16 seconds or so behind that group after Charlotte and after Charlotte Danskar. What am I trying to talk here? Can't formulate thoughts. Lap 35 plus with lap. Still no sign of the swap yet, but I think it has come a lot safer for these two McLarens to do so. And now that Danskar's basically pushed out a 2-second lead over Charlotte, I'd imagine it will take place. I'd be surprised if it didn't. And I still don't know what happened to It's You. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm fairly sure, you can go back to the stream and watch, but I'm fairly sure It's You did not set a qualifying time. He did, it was very low. This basically would have been a last to first challenge, basically, because Khalifa retired very early on and Rob was disqualified. So I think that kind of shows that he's just too quick for ILR6. Like, that's just the reality of it. So the gap closing up then is it between McLarens. There's a lapped Ferrari in the way, that is Jacko. His teammate, of course, Mr. Crumpet, was involved in some. Oh, there goes Jacko round. Did he retire? No, just more wing damage, of course, as is the case with the Ferraris these days. And then Baza then gets by. This would be a great move for Pro Opa, by the way, in P10, a safe P10 at that, and a better race from Khalifa as well. And here is the aforementioned switch. No reason not to do this. So as things stand, and this will put Danskar, it would leave him 2 points ahead of Ant heading into the final race, as we've begun the final lap of the race. It's been a great drive from Ant. I thought the race had gone from him, but It's You retired then, not sure why. But Ant did everything he needs to do today, and he's gonna, you know, if you're looking at this from Ant's perspective, like you win the race, what more can you do at the end of the day? That's that's all you can do to win the race, and Dan's going to pick up third place it seems. So that's 15 points to 25, deficit of 10, which will mean it's a 2-point title race heading into Abu Dhabi. So this one is going to go down to the wire in ILR6 after 21 races. It will be decided at Abu Dhabi. Ant attack around Jun Sao down the main straight. He's done everything he had to today, and he wins the Brazilian Grand Prix and puts himself right back in contention for this title with one race to go. Bill will take a deserved P2, and McLaren's basically wrap up the constructors title, not officially of course. Danskar third, plays fourth, Shaw finishing in fifth, with Haas picking up, basically it's almost equal. I say, well, McLaren picked up a few more points. They picked up 25 compared to 26 actually, I think, for, well, it's basically as it was basically heading into this race. Alex finishes in fifth or sixth. Khalifa then will finish in seventh. Murdoch will finish in eighth. And then there he goes. Beesman then will finish in ninth. We'll earn 2 points for him, and then Pro Opa will finish in a well-deserved 10th place. That is Pro Opa's second point of the season. He picked a point up in Austria as well, so good drive for Pro Opa to get into P10 there. And there you go. That is round 20 of ILR6. So I think there is a bit of an inquest going. Yeah, team orders indeed. So there you go then. Ant finishes on the top step. 2 points then will be the gap between himself and Dan. So then, run through the order. Ant wins ahead of Bill in second. Danskar then in third. The title will go to round 21. Plays in fourth. Shaw fifth. Alex sixth. Khalifa seventh. Murdoch in eighth. Beesman ninth. Probe at 10th. Jacko in 11th. Baz at 12th. Rob in 13th. And DNFs include it's you, Sir Lane, Jack Gooding, Red, Mr. Crumbush, who had 33 seconds for the penalty. He will have to be close to disqualification, surely. Howitzer and then Risky Racer then round up our did not finishers. So that's going to do it for round number 20 of ILR6. It will go down to the final round. Danskar holds the advantage, 2 points ahead of Ant Attack. Should be a thrilling conclusion to what has been a very entertaining season in ILR6. Title fight is gone down to the last race. So what more could you ask for? So you can join us next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. for that. And for the ILR itself, you can join for ILRs 3 and 4 around the same track. Hopefully you get some good racing there as well. So until next time.